Hey, what's going on, guys? APA fans, it is Creeperhugger here, and I am bringing you guys the APA Wi-Fi Season 1 post-draft power rankings. Now, before I hop into this, as you can already see, the power rankings are already up on your screen. Before I talk about any of the notes, these power rankings as of post-draft are now certainly 100% just based off the team itself and how I feel the team works. It's nothing to do with the coach's ability. A lot of these coaches on here I know like Point Blank, Kurt, Scotty Dr. Pepper, John, Miticus, Dan. I've battled Phantom Bass before. Panther I know, Tesla, J-Specs. I know a lot of these coaches on here, and none of this is based off their ability as battlers. Because I didn't feel as though that would be fair based off the battlers that I've never seen battle before or I've never gotten to know. So it wasn't really fair to them to put people that I knew and how they were able to battle, no matter their team, higher up on the power rankings than somebody who may have had a better team than them, but I put them lower because I didn't know how they battled. So this is all 100% based off team, and the team 100% based off the team itself. And we're going to go ahead, as you can see, the power rankings are right in front of you. 12 great battlers in the league. Very sorry that I am unable to speak the language of English because it is very hard for me as a Pennsylvania man. Anyway, so we're going to hop right into the number 12 spot. We're going to start from 12 and make our way up to 1. We're going to start at number 12, which is Espelancer and the Dallas Stars. Now, his team consists of the following. He has Scizor, Zapdos, Necrozma, Kingdra, Beartic, Nidoqueen, Politoed, Gardevoir, Hariyama, Lopunny, and Tornadus Eye. And now what I see from this team is a bit of kind of like a quote-unquote rain team with Zapdos and Kingdra, Politoed, even Tornadus Eye able to spam Hurricane. But he does have other big threats in there as well. He's got Scizor, which can be nice with Choice Band. He's got Nidoqueen. Hariyama is always good. Gardevoir is a nice Pokemon. But I'm talking all this good about this team, but you're probably sitting here wondering why I put it last. Now, as much good as this team does have, it does have some bad things to it, and I feel those are pretty crucial bad things it has, and that's why I put it last. That's why I put them last. So this is what we have. The Dallas Stars, they have no fire type and no grass type. Unless I skip something out of here, let me look through it one more time. I'm pretty sure, yeah, no fire type and no grass type. Now, with more of a rain team, I know you don't really want a fire type, but a grass type was always nice because of the fact that one of the bad things is his team is really open to Volt Switch. Now, I know he does have Nidoqueen, but with teams that have really fast and powerful electric types like Jolteon, Manectric, things like that, if they bring them against this team with the right set, Hidden Power Ice is all they're going to have to run for Nidoqueen. They're not going to have to worry about really anything other than that. And once the Nidoqueen goes down, you are able to basically just Volt Switch all over this team. And I really feel that's kind of crucial. Some good things, topping some good things about this. He does have, like I said, Scizor and Nidoqueen. They're really good fairy counters. So it's always nice to have some good fairy killers, especially for things like Kingdra. If he gets the rain up, if he can get rid of the fairies with Scizor or Nidoqueen, that's always good for him. He's got things like Zapdos in the rain for Thunder Spam, which is always nice. Tornadoes with Hurricane, as I already said. Necrozma's good. I've used Necrozma before. It's very bulky. It can be offensive if it needs to. It is one of his Z Crystal users. I don't remember what the other one was. I only wrote down the Z Crystal user if it really, I feel, benefited or put the team back. So, Z Necrozma, it might make it interesting, which I'm very excited to see how he's going to use that. Another thing is his team is his only hazard removal is Defog. Unless I'm missing something, I looked it up. Hariyama doesn't get Rapid Spin. I'm pretty sure his only way of getting rid of hazards is Scizor and Zapdos, and both of those only have Defog. Now, that could be alright, but it kind of forces him to bring Zapdos almost every week if there's a big hazard stacker, or if he wants to only bring Scizor. But again, there's like the hazard stacker, like say Zapdos doesn't have a good matchup, this one like a Fortress or something like that. Scizor would have to run a move spot for defog, which obviously is going to be hard to keep hazards on his side of the field. So that could be very, that could lose him games, like having to defog his hazards away as well as his opponents. So that could, I've seen that lose games. I've seen hazards staying up on your field, like especially with the fact that if you hazard stack your opponent, they hazard stack you. If you want to defog, it's going to get rid of yours. I've seen the fact of only having defog being scared to defog because you don't want to get rid of hazards because they work well against your opponent's team. So we'll have to see how he gets around that. And the last bad thing is here, I put normal Lopunny because I've really never seen normal Lopunny been used very well. I've really never been seen to use it at all, and when I have, it hasn't really performed very well for my standards anyway. I'm not really sure why he picked it. He probably has a good explanation for it, but I did put it as a bad thing. I did put kind of like a question mark, excuse me, next to it because I wasn't really sure how he's going to use it. It could be interesting. Does Axe have ability to like Limber or Klutz, which makes your item have no effect? So like Choice Scarf, Trick, something like that. Like Choice, yeah, you can have like Choice Scarf, Trick, and then not have to, or you can trick something. It's Switcheroo, and not Trick, but Switcheroo, stuff like that. So I've seen Lopunny. I saw Lopunny and I was kind of a little hesitant, but it'll be interesting to see how he uses it and idolizes it. Next up, we have our number 11 spot, which is Teslamouse in the Houston Raichus. Now, I've worked with Tesla before. I'm currently in the PMU Gold with him as of right now. And Tesla is a very good battler. Very, very good battler. But I had to put him at 11 because I felt as though, like I said before, like the other teams stack up well against him and they have better team synergy and all that. Anyway, let's hop right into his team. He has Tapu Fini, Volcarona, Zygarde 10%, Thundurus T, Cobalion, Amoonguss, Mandibuzz, Meloetta, Drapion, Vikavolt, and Dusknoir. Now, I was looking at this team and I instantly saw he has 4 Mons that are weak to rocks, but obviously one of them being 4 times weak. Boozer, don't bark, please. I'm recording. Nobody. Obviously, one of those being 4 times weak, being Volcarona, is going to come in and take 50%. He does have 2 ways of getting rid of hazards with Defog on Tapu Fini and Defog on Mandibuzz, which again brings you into the whole only has Defog thing. He has 3 what did I write? 3 hazard removals and 2 hazard removals. I'm blanking now. No, he only has 2. I might have meant 3 hazard setters. My bad. Stealth Rocks on Zygarde, Stealth Rocks on Cobalion, and Drapion gets T-Spikes. So that's always good. Some good things about this team. He has like the Amoonguss Fini-Core. Amoonguss and Tapu Fini are really nice. They kind of complement each other very well. Sorry, I cannot speak. Obviously, Tapu Fini being water and fairy. He's got Amoonguss, which is going to come in. Amoonguss wants to come in and it can come in and take the electric type move. It can take a poison type move. Anything that wants to come in on Amoonguss, like fire types, Tapu Fini can take those. It can come in and eat it and swallow up a psychic type hit. So Tapu Fini and Amoonguss are a very good core together. He does have some very fast threats, some nice setup sweepers like Thundurus T, Zygarde, and Volcarona, which could always be nice. Even Cobalion can be nice. Can be a like a rock polish SD set if the matchup's right. Calm Mind Meloetta is always scary, so I have to look at that. Some of the bad things that are with this team. He has 4 Mons weak to rocks, and he's kind of forced to bring Defog. If he wants to bring Defog on Tapu Fini or Mandibuzz, that's kind of what Mandibuzz is there for, is a Defog. But even then, again, it gets to the point where like keeping rocks on their side of the field and try to get them off your side of the field with no Rapid Spinner is kind of an issue. So there's always that. One of his Z Crystal users is Drapion, and I did find that a little interesting because obviously he has things like Volcarona or like Thundurus T. Something like Zygarde would appreciate Z Crystal. I forget what his other one is. Ooh. But I know one of them is Drapion, and I've used Z Drapion in the past, and I just didn't feel it's a very good Z Crystal user. But again, I will have to see how he idolizes it. I'm very interested to see how he wants to use it. It could come in handy if needed, but I just don't really see it being very useful. Another thing is with Tapu Fini and Amoonguss, as though the core is very good together. With Misty Surge, there is no Spore, so Amoonguss is not allowed to sit there and just click Spore on things, which could potentially come back and hurt Tesla late game, sending out Fini before Amoonguss and not being able to get Spore off on some big threat, and potentially bringing Tesla down. So that could always be an issue. So that is our number 11 spot in the Houston Raichus. Next up we have J-Specs and the Hamden Hydreigons. Now, I've worked with J-Specs in the past. I'm a Jenner in the PMC as of right now. So I do know J-Specs. He's a really chill dude. He's a really good battler. Almost pretty good. He's a really good battler. I've watched him battle in the past. So I know what he's capable of, but again, I had to put him at 10 because of kind of his team, and I felt as though he didn't deserve to be last, but he didn't deserve to be first either. They didn't deserve to be in the middle because there were more teams better than him. So let's look right into his team. He has Jirachi, Togekiss, Alolan Marowak, Chestnut, Mega Blastoise, Weavile, Haxorus, Aselgor, Raichu, Weezing, and Diggersby. Now you're probably hearing that team and you're like, man, that's actually kind of power. But it's got some good things and some bad things to it. If we look at it, he does have 3 hazard setters, which is always nice. He's got Jirachi, which can set up Stealth Rocks, Chestnut, which can set up Spikes, Selgor can set up Spikes, Weezing can set up Toxic Spikes, so that's actually 4. I apologize for that. I think I forgot the fact that Weezing gets T-Spikes. Or at least I'm pretty sure it does. So there's always that. He only has one Stealth Rock setter, which is Jirachi, which could be a little bit of a problem. If he really wants to bring Stealth Rocks, he has to bring them on Jirachi, which could be a big offensive threat if needed. He does have 3 hazard removers. He has the Jirachi, the Togekiss, which can defog. He's got the Mega Blastoise, which can Rapid Spin, and what else was there? I have 3 on here. Maybe he only has the 2, and I accidentally clicked 3. I think he only has 2. Yeah, he only has 2, defog and Rapid Spin. If I'm missing anything, please leave it down in the comments. I do apologize if I do miss anything, but it does seem like I am missing something here. So anyway, so that's that. Good things about this team: he does have the well-known Hax core of Jirachi, Togekiss, which them just as a pair really work well together. Jirachi obviously being able to come in on poison type hits and steel type hits, and able to come in on ice type hits. So that could be nice. And Jirachi and Togekiss able to come in on things like fire type attacks and ground type attacks, obviously like that, which could be a thing. They always do work well together, and obviously both having Serene Grace, Air Slash with Togekiss, Jirachi with Heart Stamp or Iron Head, depending on the matchups, could be really nice. The bad things about this team: he has 4 rock weaknesses, and they are really some big offensive threats. Things like Alolan Marowak, Weavile, Aselgor, and why did I put Togekiss? No, Togekiss is a rock weakness, but it's not one of his offensive threats. His offensive threats being like Weavile, Aselgor, and Alolan Marowak, all coming in and taking 25% from rocks, is really rough. And with the fact that he has something like Raichu, who wants to come in and just start volt switching with rocks up, that would be with just hazards in general up, that could be really limiting to how many times Jirachi or Raichu is able to switch in. So he has to watch out for that. So like I said, he has to watch out for that. Yeah, so that is the Hamden Hydreigons and the number 10 spot. Next up, we have the number 9 spot, which is the Sherbrooke Talonflames, I believe that's how it is, and Fuetsky. I think it's Fuetsky. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm very sorry if I butchered your name. But the Sherbrooke Talonflames are at number 9. Their team consists of Mew, Volcanion, Chansey, Gliscor, Delmise, Crobat, Whimsicott, Alolan Muck, Sawsbuck, Magneton, and Pyroar. Now, what I saw instantly from looking at this team is he has 4 Mons that are weak to ground. One of them being 4 times weak to it. But he does also have 2 immunities. being Gliscor and Crobat, and he has 2 resistances, being Teslamouse and Whimsicott. So it kind of balances it out there, not really, but it kind of does, kind of doesn't. He has 3 fighting type weaknesses, but again, he has 1 immunity and 3 resistances, so that kind of balances that out as well. Some good things about this team is he has Mew is one of his Z Crystal users, which is always nice. I guess it gets all the TMs, base 100 stats to back that up. It's just amazing. It's got, again, really good fairy killers in Alolan Muck and Magneton. Alolan Muck really, with an Assault Vest, is able to switch in basically versus any fairy type and do a lot of damage to it in return. Magneton, obviously, being there with things like Analytic or Analytic boosted Flash Cannon, can always be nice. Something just like Choice Specs, Flash Cannon, Volt Switch, able to Volt Switch around is always nice as well. Some bad things about this team is he does have Chansey, which is setup fodder for days. You can try to argue it. Chansey's setup fodder. It's a good mon. It's very bulky on the special side, but it's setup fodder. It really is. So yeah, sorry, I was checking something. Yeah, but Chansey, just really big setup fodder. I do apologize for that bit pause. I was checking for something. Again, he has that bit of a ground weakness. Sporemon's weak to ground, but his immunities and resistances are all weak to ice. So a mon like Mamoswine really just kind of can put a hurt on this team, because Mamoswine can hit Gliscor super effective. It hits the Teslamouse super effective, both being one immunity, 1 resistance to ground. Whimsicott gets hit super effective by Mamoswine. Again, another resistance to ground. His other immunity, being Crobat, again, gets hit super effective by ice types. So a mon like Mamoswine could really hurt this team with the right moveset and the right item at the right time. Things like Ice Shard are going to be doing a lot to this team, which is kind of why, and things he does in Ice Shard, he either knocks off or he goes for Earthquake against. So it's the team is good. I like the team, but that bit of a ground weakness could come back and hurt him, and that is why he is at the 9 spot. Next up, we have a good friend of mine at the number 8 spot. We have Panther and the Carolina Clefables. Now, his team consists of the following. He has Excadrill, Latios, Arcanine, Jolteon, Milotic, Mega Pinsir, Gourgeist, Miltank, Gigalith, Gengar, and Scrafty. Now, actually, I did forget to mention at the beginning of this video, and I do apologize that it took me almost 5 people to get through. Some people have Megas and some people don't, obviously, because Sun and Moon hasn't released all the Megas yet. Not everyone's going to get a Mega. So we did kind of like what the NPA did, and we get an S-tier Mon. They get an S-tier Mon, which could either be something like a Tapu or what are they called? Ultra Beast, or it could be a Mega. Or things like Mew, and I think Jirachi was an S tier. Just kind of things that we added in there. I think we went off NPA tiers for that. So that does explain why some have Megas and some don't. So yeah. So hopping into the good things about this team, he does have the Sand Sweeper with Excadrill, and he does have things like Excadrill and Gigalith now getting Sandstream. Sorry for that. Sandstream, allowing Excadrill to be in the sand. He does have Z Latios, which is always good. Latios gets some good coverage. And Latios is just a good mon in general, holding a Z Crystal, firing off Draco Meteor is just going to be hurting with devastating Drake. He's got the real bulky Fire One Grass Core with Arcanine, Milotic, and where was the Gourgeist? Yes, that's what it is. He does have some really nice fast offensive threats like Gengar with base 110, I believe. Jolteon's base 130 or 135, something like that. Excadrill in the sand is going to be fast. Latios is base 110. So he does have some nice fast offensive threats. So that could be good for his team. And here we look at the bad part of his team. We do have the fact that there already is a rain team in here. Sand loses to rain like 9 out of 10 times, maybe 8 or 7 out of 10 times. But more than likely, Sand is going to lose to rain. And with the fact that there is a rain team in here, could really hurt Panther's team. That was my dog. If you heard that, I'm very sorry. He does his hazard removals. He has 2 of them. He has defog on Latios and spin on Excadrill, and I believe that is it. Which really limits his offensive Pokemon. If he really wants to save a move slot for Rapid Spin on Excadrill, if he has to, that's going to really limit his Excadrill because it may not have a certain coverage move which could keep him from sweeping a team. He has Latios, which again, same thing, 4-slot move syndrome, or 4 move slot syndrome is going to hurt this man with Latios and Excadrill being his only 2 hazard removers, which could potentially be an issue. This man also has 5 ground-type weaknesses, with the fact of Gengar losing Levitate. Those obviously being Excadrill, Arcanine, Jolteon, the Gigalith, and now the Gengar, being 5. So again, another Mon like Mamoswine really rips through this team. Basically, he does have the resistances with Gourgeist, the immunity with Latios, and something like Milotic can come in. But again, something like Mamoswine with Freeze Dry to hit the Milotic, Earthquake is going to hit basically everything on this man's team. Ice Shard or Icicle Crash is going to hit the Latios. It's also going to hit the Mega Pincer or something like Ice Shard. Again, this man's team is it's a good team. I do like it, but the 5 ground type weaknesses kind of cripple it. With also the fact that Latios and Excadrill have to save a spot for hazard removal if he really wants to. He does have 3 hazard setters, which is nice. Excadrill obviously gets Stealth Rocks. Miltank gets Stealth Rocks. Gigalith being able to get Stealth Rocks as well. I already said that he's got 2 Mons weak to Rocks, 2 hazard removers, like I already said. 4 Mons weak to Fighting, which could be bad as well. Like Excadrill's weak to Fighting. Miltank is weak to Fighting. Gigalith and Scrafty is as well. He does have the good things that can check it, like things like Mega Pincer, but it doesn't want to switch in a bunch of times. Latios is able to come in on them. Gengar can come in, obviously, because it's immune, but again, a knockoff is going to hurt Gengar and Latios. Gourgeist can come in, but again, same thing. They don't want to take a knockoff. Something like Scrafty can kind of rip through this team as well with the right move set. So that is the number 8 slot and the Carolina Clefables. And moving on to number 7, we have, as you can see, the Green Bay Pikachus and Coach Jacob as always. Now, his team, I do like his team, but again, I like his team personally, but it has some, it obviously does have its good and its bads, so that's why he's number 7. His team consists of Mega Kangaskhan, Gothitelle, Scolipede, Mantine, Dugtrio, Alolan Ninetales, Blaziken, Bisharp, Claydol, Trevenant, and Alolan Golem. So, as I see right from the get-go, Mega Kangaskhan is immediately just really good, even though it got nerfed with Parental Bond only doing, I think, 1.2 now instead of 1.5 damage on the second hit, which even then, that's still a lot of damage, and with a powerful attack stat with Mega Kangaskhan as it is, normal type spam with something like Return and all that is still going to be doing a lot. Looking at his team as well, he also has 4 hazard setters and 2 hazard removers. So he has nice hazard setters and nice hazard control. He does have 3 Mons weak to Rocks, though, being Scolipede, Mantine, and Alolan Ninetales. And there goes my dog. Hey! Shh! No. Stop. No. 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 It's alright. It's okay. You're alright. Hey, you're okay? You're okay? Sit. Come on, sit. Sit. Good boy. Stay. Anyway, back into what I was saying. Very sorry for that. My dog is a maniac and barks at everything that moves. Anyway, yeah, his 3 Mons weak to Rocks. Other good things he has on this team, he has good trapping with Dugtrio and Gothitelle. Obviously, Ghost type's not being affected by either Shadow Tag or Arena Trap. So, and Ghost type's able to hit Gothitelle super effective. So that could be something. He does have Aurora Veil with Alolan Ninetales, which could always be nice, having damage on things. Excuse me. Could always be good. He obviously has nice hazard setters with things like Dugtrio and Alolan Golem, able just to come in early, set up hazards. Bad thing about this thing, he has 3 Mons weak to Dark and fighting type, and fighting types kind of run through this team as well. 3 mons weak to dark being Gothitelle, Claydol, and Trevenant. And the Pokemon that are weak to fighting is Mega Kangaskhan. Mega Kangaskhan's weak to fighting. Bisharp is also weak to fighting and Alolan Golem, so that's another 3. Again, another mon like Scrafty. After a couple things go down, depending on the team, really can kind of run through this team, or just with the right move set in general. Another team Scrafty can kind of run through. So we'll have to see how he works with this team and how he works around teams with Scrafty or things like that. Things that are just going to be able to plow through this team, like strong offensive dark types, strong offensive fighting types, or just things like that, which can kind of plow through his team if needed. Late game, stuff like that. Next up, we're hopping into the number 6 spot. Halfway through the list, we have Moxie Boosted and the Chicago Flock. Now, I've never watched Moxie battle. I recently just met him, and based on the team he drafted, he seems like he knows what he's doing. But some of the stuff on here, obviously, like I said, it kind of evens out. Anyway, I'm gonna stop repeating myself and just tell you his team. He has Heatran, Tapu Bulu, Nidoking, Rotom Wash, Komala, Terrakion, Zygarde 50%, Uxie, Honchkrow, Slurpuff, and Lunatone. Now, looking at his team, instantly I saw he only has 2 hazard removers, which is Komala with Rapid Spin and Honchkrow with Defog, which can kind of hurt his team. Obviously, residual damage is always residual damage. He has 6 hazard setters, which is just insane. He has Heatran, which gets Stealth Rocks. Nidoking gets Stealth Rocks. Terrakion gets Stealth Rocks. Zygarde gets Stealth Rocks. Uxie gets Stealth Rocks. And Lunatone gets Stealth Rocks. That's 6 Stealth Rock setters right there. So this man is definitely finding a way to get up rocks on your side of the field. He has 4 mons that are weak to Ice, 2 resistances. Tapu Bulu, Nidoking, Zygarde 50%, and Honchkrow all weak to Ice. 3 resistances obviously being Heatran, Rotom Wash, and Lunatone. I believe Lunatone resists. I don't remember if Rock resists Ice. It may only be 2 resistances. I only have 2 resistances on here. He has 1 mon weak to rocks. 1 mon that's weak to rocks, which is the Honchkrow. He does have 3 things that resist it. Heatran's hit neutral. Nidoking, Terrakion, and Lunatone are all resistances. Good things about this team, he has really nice hazard setters. Like I said, he has 6 of them. Z-Heatran is absolutely power. Tapu Bulu is just an animal itself. I really do like his Fire Water Grass Core, Heatran, Bulu, Rotom Wash. He also has the Fairy Dragon Steel Core, a Slurpuff, Heatran, Zygarde 50%. And then he's saying, hey, that's a lot of good things. Some of the bad things. The team's kind of slow, honestly, except for like Terrakion, which does hit base 108. Other than that, his team's kind of slow. I guess I could see potentially a Trick Room team coming out of this with Lunatone or Uxie, which could always be nice. A Pokemon like Kyurem Black rips through this team. Same with Mamoswine. Heatran doesn't appreciate Earthquake or Earth Power. Tapu Bulu doesn't want to take an Ice Beam from a Kyurem Black or a Icicle Crash from a Mamoswine. Nidoking's not taking an Ice move or an Earth type or a Ground type move. Rotom Wash doesn't want to take a Earth Power from a Kyurem Black. Komala doesn't want to take something like a Super Power from a Kyurem Black, something like that. Terrakion's not taking an Earth Power. Zygarde doesn't want to take an Ice Beam. Uxie doesn't want to take something like a Shadow Claw or something like a Shadow Ball. Honchkrow doesn't want to take an Ice Beam. Slurpuff's not taking an Iron Head. Lunatone doesn't want to take an Iron Head or an Earthquake. Or actually, no, doesn't want to take an Earthquake. Stuff like that. So Kyurem Black, Mamoswine can when certain things are gone, but Kyurem Black really just kind of runs through this man's team. And that's why I had to put him lower on the list because of if one mon's able to run through your team like that. I know it can happen, but the teams that are above this in the top 6 really don't have one mon that just kind of runs through their team. Or maybe some as maybe 4 and 5 do, but definitely the top 3 do not. So that's why I had to put him a little lower on the list. I do really like his team, but I felt as though I had to put him on the quote-unquote bottom half or I stuck him right in the middle, and that's why. He had a good team, but Pokemon like Kyurem Black, stuff like that, if one or two mons are able to just kind of rip through your team, I'm going to put you lower on the list. That's how I feel, and that's where I'm going to put you. Next up, at number 5, we have my boy Point Blank Kurt in the Winnipeg Blue Blastoise. And I decided to put Kurt at number 5 if you just hear this team, you'll understand why he's in the top half. He has Kieran Black, Cresselia, Forgus, Entei, Rose Raid, Tentacruel, Registeel, Mega Aerodactyl, Exploud, Alolan Raichu, and Golurk. Now this team is I do like this team. I've used a lot of the mons on his team. I've used the mons on his team a lot. But again, something I noticed right away. He's open to Volt Switch without Golurk. That it being his only mon that is immune to electric. So this team really is open to Volt Switch, and Volt Turn can kind of go through this, things like that. I do like his Fire Water Grass Core with Entei, Tentacruel, and Rose Raid, but Tentacruel and Rose Raid does give him 2 poison types, which I did note. But he does have easy ways switching to Psychic type attacks and Ground type attacks. But they could potentially be fast Psychic types could be a problem like mid to late game if those things are weakened and it's kind of right, like Cresselia is able to come in on Ground type attacks and Psychic type attacks. Registeel can come in on Psychic type attacks. Things like that. Like Forgus can come in on like a Psychic type attack if it's not a Psych Shock. It also comes in with things like Earth Power, something like that. So like I said there, I do like it. He has nice fast offense with Alolan Raichu, Entei being kind of fast at base 100, Mega Aerodactyl. Rose Raid is alright. I think it's like base 80 or something like that. Alolan Raichu is very fast. I think base 110. So there is that. It's a very well balanced team. It does really complement itself very well. The mons on it complement each other. Some bad things about it though, it's a little weak to rocks with minimal hazard removal. Things like Kyurem and Entei really don't want to keep switching in, and those are what you want to keep switching in like that. Raichu doesn't want to keep volt switching around with rocks up, so that's always a thing. But he does have like the minimal removal for hazards. He's forced to either bring Tentacruel or make room for Defog and Aerodactyl if the matchup's not good for Tentacruel. So that can kind of wear him down because his opponents can really just kind of prep for Tentacruel and Mega Aerodactyl if they have things that are easily going to be able to sit there and set up rocks on him. So that's always a kind of a scary thing to note. 4 out of his 7 like mons that are going to be offensively based are more specially based. Things like Raichu, Rose Raid, Exploud. Kyurem's more used special because of the fact that it's moveset on the special side. I know it can be used physical. I've seen it been used physical. It's still a monster when it's physical, but it's more specially based, quote unquote. But I know Kurt, and I know he's not only going to use it special. Anyway, it's about the point. It all depends on matchup, I know. But it was something I noted in here. And that's why I put him up in like as the last spot in the top half. Because the teams above him are really they're better than this. And it's no shot at Kurt, or no shot at anybody for drafting. I don't know how people like their teams. Obviously, like I said, this is just how I personally think the teams are going to go. So yeah, next up, hopping into the number 4 spot, we have one of the commissioners. We have Mightykus in the Boston Beedrills. Now, his team consists of Garchomp, Ferrothorn, Sableye, Snorlax, Hitmontop, Crustle, Manaphy, Eelektross, Salazzle, Togetic, and Jinx. So, looking at this team, I instantly see there's 4 mons weak to rocks. He has 3 hazard setters. 4 mons weak to rocks being the Salazzle, the Togetic, the Jinx, and the Crustle, because rock doesn't resist rock. So I'm pretty sure rock types don't take resisted damage against stealth rocks. I could be completely wrong on that, but I really do not think so. So as of right now, as I can see, 4 mons weak to rocks, 3 hazard setters, Garchomp, Ferrothorn, and the Crustle, which are always nice. I don't think Salazzle gets Toxic Spikes. I think I checked that. I don't think it does. He has a nice Fire Water Grass Core with Manaphy, Salazzle, and Ferrothorn. And his Fairy Dragon Steel Core being Ferrothorn, Togetic, and Garchomp. It's also very good as well. Another good thing about this team, he has Z Garchomp, which can just be a very big threat. Garchomp obviously being fast, base 102, I'd be able to outspeed things like base 100s. It's a very well balanced team. He has no repeating typings, which I thought is really cool. I did really like that about this team. You're gonna see with 3 and 4, they can for me they're kind of interchangeable. But I did put the person at 3 and Mightykus at 4 because of one reason, and you'll see it here. He's really open to ground type spam, but he doesn't have Eel or Togetic. With 4 Mons weak to rocks as well, that can kind of hurt his team late game, depending on what he has left. So that is the number 4 spot. Hopping into his interchangeable partner at number 3, we have Scotty Dr. Pepper John and the Houston Rocket Tots. Now his team consists of Donphan, Sarina, Mesprit, Salamence, Sylveon, Rotom Heat, Empoleon, Mega Beedrill, Porygon, Sneasel, and Primeape. Now looking at this team, I instantly see I like his Fire Water Grass Core with Rotom, Serena, and Empoleon, and his Fairy Dragon Steel Core with Empoleon, Sylveon, and Salamence. The other thing I did see about this team is fighting types with the right coverage can kind of hurt this team. But he does have really nice ways to check those with fast offensive throws like Mega Beedrill can come in and Poison Jab them. Things like Mesprit are going to come in and be able to eat, obviously, fighting type attacks. His team is very well balanced. He has no repeating typings, and he has all 16 typings. And that is why I put him at 3rd and put Mightykiss at 4th. Because John has all 16 typings, which I find very interesting. He's obviously having one of every typing. He's going to be able to find a way to hit things super effective no matter what. So that's always a thing. Z Salamence is just a very, very hard hitter, and I know John. He's going to be able to utilize it very well. Bad things about this: he has 4 Mons weak to rocks, which may hurt his team. Things like Salamence, Rotom Heat, Mega Beedrill, and Sneasel. Mega Beedrill obviously wanting to be just kind of sit there and U-turn around, being as fast as it is, base 145. So there's always that. It's always that to look out for. But he does have the hazard removal with Donphan, Serena, defog on Salamence if he wants to defog an Empoleon. I think Primeape gets Rapid Spin. Actually, no, it doesn't. Mega Beedrill even can run defog if he wants to. So he has a nice way of getting rid of hazards. He has 5 hazard removals and 3 hazard setters. So it's always nice to see. John drafted a really nice team, and I do like it. But I did have to put him at 3rd because the top two teams that are above him, and we're starting off with them right now. The number 2 spot is Phantom Bass and the New York Cosmogs. And this team, I really do like it. He has Victini, Hydreigon, Skarmory, Decidueye, Blastoise, Mienshao, Heliolisk, Rhyperior, Aromatisse, Musharna, and Mega Glalie. Now, looking at this team, his Fire Water Grass Core I completely adore with Victini, Decidueye, and Blastoise. I love Victini. Victini is just a very hard hitter in general. Things like Decidueye, able to sit there, Swords Dance, Nasty Plot, and also gets access to Baton Pass. Things like Defog could be nice. It can be a very good offensive sweeper. It can be a specially offensive sweeper. It can be a defogger if you need it to be. It can be assault vested. It's just a very good mon in general. Blastoise, access to Rapid Spin. It's a very bulky mon. It has some power on the special side if you really need it to. It's access to Dragon Tail for things that want to set up on it. I'm kind of ranting about this Fire Water Grass Core, but I just absolutely adore it. 3 hazard removers and 2 hazard setters, which is always nice. Good things about this team: he has Victini, Hydreigon, which that right there is a very, very nice core. They complement each other very well. It's a very well-balanced team, has really good synergy. Bad things about it, I really couldn't find a whole lot. The only thing I could potentially see is things like Victini and Decidueye both being weak to dark. But other than that, he has things that switch into dark types. Things like Mienshao can switch in, Aromatisse switches in. So he has 3 Mons weak to dark, but again, he has good switch-ins for it. So that's why I put him at number 2. But the number 1 spot, right now, we're going to hop right into that. Number 1 in the post-draft power rankings, we have Dan, Elite Four Dan, and the Addlestone Ampharos. Now, I've known Dan for a while now, a couple months now. He is a very, very good guy. He drafts really well. He's a very good battler. And you'll see with this team right here why he is the number 1 in the APA post-draft power rankings. And why I feel he's probably going to stay there for a while. No offense to anybody else, but Dan, with this team, I know he's going to wreck house. His team consists of Celesteela, Latias, Tangrowth, Crocodile, Darmanitan, Galvantula, Alomomola, Hitmonchan, Granbull, Regirock, and Cincino. Now, looking at this team, I instantly see he has webs with Galvantula, which are going to be able to help things like Latias, Crocodile, things like Darmanitan appreciate those. Cincino even appreciate it. With base 115, webs are going to be nice to even out things that are going to be able to help Scarfers. Help get rid of Scarfers as a threat. His Firewater Grass core, Darmanitan, Alomomola, and Tangrowth. As you can see, there's that Regenerator core right there. He has a very well balanced team. I don't think I see a single repeating typing in here, which is always nice. Things like Celesteela, Latias cover each other very well. Celesteela can be a big offensive threat if need be. The only bad thing, quote unquote bad thing I see is potentially Z Galvantula, and that's not even really a bad thing. I just was kind of confused about it, because he has things like, I think Latias is his other one. He also has things like Crocodile, Darmanitan, which both could like one, maybe even Cincino. So that was one thing that kind of confused me. It's not really a bad thing, but I mean, Galvantula does have like relatively high special attack stat, so utilizing like Z Thunder, Gigavolt, Havoc could always be nice, and it does get good coverage. I will agree, it does get very good coverage, but it did kind of confuse me a little bit. Not necessarily a bad thing, just kind of confused me. And Dan is number 1, and I do honestly feel like he will probably stay there for at least a couple weeks because of just his team, and I know his ability. But that didn't have anything to do with why I put him at the top rank. So those are the post-draft power rankings for the APA Wi-Fi Season 1. If you guys did enjoy, please hit that like button down below. Show support for the APA. Also, go follow all 12 of these amazing battlers that we have in this league. And make sure you watch their videos when they are uploaded for the APA and the team builders as well. And don't forget to tune in to the APA channel every week where me, myself, and maybe another guest every week. I may invite a coach or somebody on the outside. If you guys would like to see that, smash that like button down below. Leave a comment. And I'm going to get the heck out of here, guys. Make sure you show your support for all 12 coaches and for the APA in general. My name is Creeperhugger, and I will see you guys later. Peace!